Welcome back to another edition of Gen Sports Corner, back at you for 12/6/2020. I am your host, Jen the God. This is my co-host for today.
Ryan from Sportscast.
Absolutely, man. So, good to have you back again. So today we're going to be talking about the fight last night between Errol Spence and Danny Swift Garcia, as well as then jumping into the Eagles matchup against the Packers today. All right, so we got into the fight in the last episode. Let me know what your thoughts were. What did you think about it, man?
I thought it was a really good fight. I was very intrigued what I saw from Spence. I thought he came out. I mean, after the accident he went through, and he looked really sharp. He impressed me a lot. For me, who has never watched a guy fight, he came off as very impressive, man. Like, I saw a lot of quickness, a lot of body hits. I thought Danny looked pretty good too at times, but I just obviously Spence was far more dominant, and I thought he just coming out like that, man. It was very impressive. He looked really good.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, man. I think it was definitely a matchup of styles in this one because Danny Garcia is a counterpuncher. He's a counterpuncher with a wicked left hook, and he also has a pretty good right hook to the body and up top as well. But that left hook is what really gets it done for him. I really liked how Spence was able to apply pressure while staying active. I mean, some guys, they cut the ring off and they apply pressure, but they don't throw punches. Where Spence, even when he wasn't throwing power behind his punches, he was staying active, keeping that jab in Danny's face, making him have to work for 2.5 minutes out of each round at a bare minimum.
Yeah, man. I thought at times he was gonna eventually knock him out. His pressure, as he gets better as the match goes, was just very impressive to me. The way he gets better as it just goes on, it's just crazy how good he gets down the stretch. He just impressive, man.
Yeah, and I mentioned that in our last podcast when he beat Kell Brook because Kell Brook was tattooing him in those first 5-6 rounds of that fight.
Yeah.
And then as the fight dragged on, he was able to apply pressure and wear him down and eventually stop him in that fight and administered out a lot of damage in that fight. And it's a testament to his warrior spirit. Now, I'm not saying it's the most intelligent way of fighting at times because I mean he has solid good defense, he has good hand placement, but he takes a lot of shots, at least pre-car accident, that I thought that he could clean up, that he didn't necessarily have to take. And in this fight, his defense, in my opinion, still needs work, but he proved to me he is the same guy post-car accident as he was pre-car accident, and maybe a little bit more patient this time around. Because I mean, when you think about it, that car accident is pretty much like a brutal knockout.
Yeah.
Right.
It definitely is.
And a lot of guys don't come back the same from that. Not only in boxing, but in football. We saw with Brian Westbrook when he got that first concussion. I forgot what game it was, and he came back a little bit too soon the second time around, and he got concussed again, and then he had that lingering issue with us for a while. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's impressive, man. Just to come, like I said, to come back from an accident like that and just give that kind of performance, very impressive.
Yeah, and I think it's like you said, I think it's a testament to Errol Spence because Danny Garcia is a top-notch fighter, and they kept mentioning it throughout the podcast. But Danny was, and I mentioned it too, he was 0-2 in those title fights, but they were down to the wire, split decision losses against the creme de la creme. Sean Porter was one of the guys on the panels, one of the announcers. He's one of the people that he lost to, and Sean Porter's an absolute dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he pushed Sean Porter, and then he also pushed, who was it? I think it was Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
And some people say that maybe he won that fight. So you're talking about a guy that he doesn't get knocked out, and even in his losses, he's never been blown out the water, even in his losses. And the losses have been close enough where people have debated whether he won or not. So for him to come out and it wasn't like a domination the way that Tyson Fury dominated Deontay Wilder, but he controlled the fight, set the pace, and that was a strong 8-4 decision. It wasn't like there was a whole bunch of swing rounds. He earned all those rounds. He had like 3 or 4 just dominant rounds compared to like
Yeah,
Danny had one round where I thought he clearly won. He just
yeah,
controlled the fight. It was very
yeah,
impressive.
yeah, definitely did, man. Like I said, for him to come out like that and just the way he was swinging and to get better as the fight went on, it was just impressive, man. Just I was really like you said, his defense needs work. But I was very intrigued by his offense.
Yeah. Yeah, and on both sides, they were throwing a lot of brutal body shots in that fight.
Oh, absolutely.
Brutal body shots.
I like David Garcia a lot too in this fight. I thought at times for him to come out like that against a caliber fighter, like you said, Danny has a really good resume. So for him to put on that kind of show after a car accident like that just speaks volumes about him, man.
Yeah, and I actually had the fight a little bit closer than the announcers. I thought that guy that was given the unofficial scorecard was extremely biased.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
yeah,
Um,
it's all point.
I had the score more like Sean Porter had it, where he had Danny with 4 rounds after 10 rounds. Like he had it like 6-4 after 10 rounds. That's kind of how I had it.
Right.
Because I thought that Earl was applying pressure and ring generalship. That is very important in scoring rounds as well. It's not just the number of punches you land. For me, it's effective pressure and what who is being hurt by the shots more.
Mm-hmm.
You might land 10 pity pat shots do not count more than 2 or 3 impactful shots for me.
Right.
Um, so for me, and I actually did like a round by round breakdown. I'll go through it real quick. First round, I had it to Spence clearly, but it was a good round for both. Second round, I had it a swing round. I thought that Danny landed slightly more, but Earl was right there. I could have seen that round going either way. Round three, so I had it. I had it 1-1. So round three, I gave it to Spence, controlled the round and applied pressure. 2-1 Spence. Round four, I gave it to Garcia because even though Spence landed more, I thought that Danny was landing the more effective, clean shots, and you could just see him. Like even though he was landing less. So for me, compared to the unofficial scorecard, he's just counting the pressure and the shots landed. I'm counting when Danny is landing, and it's not like every 30 seconds. It's like every 3 to 5 seconds. Like he's immediately responding to Earl and hitting him
Right.
flush with like uppercuts and hooks. I'm like, I'm giving that to Danny. Um, round five, I gave it to Danny again, but it was a great round by both of them. So I actually had Danny up 3-2 after five, which was the complete opposite of the unofficial scorecard. Then the sixth round, I thought Spence dominated that round. Like he just hands down dominated. Round seven, dominated for the first minute with the body shots. Danny worked in some in the last minute, but I still gave it to Spence. Dominated that round. Eighth round, dominated again by Spence. I gave Spence 3 rounds in a row. Great pressure, dominating with the body shots. Round nine, I gave to Danny because I thought that Spence took a round off, backed up off the gas, and Danny just landed some, but it was a really quiet round. Like they didn't
I agree with
overland
that.
much.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Round 10, I gave it to Danny again. He landed some decent shots, not anything crazy, but Spence took another round off.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, 1-1, 2-1 Spence. So I had 3-2 after five for Danny, 3-3, 4-3, 5-3, 5-4. I had it tied up after 10 rounds, me
Mm-hmm.
personally, just because Spence took those rounds off.
Yeah.
And then round 11, I thought Spence dominated the first minute, and he allowed Danny to fight back in that round when it wasn't necessary, but I still thought he won the round. And then round 12, I thought that was Spence clearly. So I had Spence winning 7-5. I could have seen it 8-4 with the second round, which was what
Mm-hmm.
two of the judges had, and that's what Sean Porter had as well. So I had a 7-5, but 8-4 made sense to me as well. I
Yeah.
thought that it wasn't as close as the score would indicate, but it wasn't as wide as what people might think from a dominant performance. That 9-3 decision, I didn't agree with that, but it is what it is. I thought it was a great fight.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, And I think that's why I called my prediction. I think I called Spence by decision. I might have said 8th round TKO. I can't remember if I said decision or TKO, but I do explicitly remember saying Spence was going to the first 4 or 5 rounds. Danny was going to be in there trading, exchanging with him, but as time went on, Spence would wear him down, and I think that's what happened. We saw that in that fight.
Absolutely.
But great fight, and I want to see Terrence Crawford against Errol Spence next. That's going to be the one that's really going to stand out to me.
Yeah. I'd like to see that, man. What's Terrence Crawford like? I gotta check him out. I gotta watch some more fights on Spence and Danny.
Yeah. Terrence Crawford is phenomenal, and he just fought Kell Brook, the one I was mentioning that lost to Errol Spence in that really fireworks type fight.
Right.
He just fought Kell Brook about 2 weeks ago and stopped Kell Brook in the 4th round because Kell Brook was lighting him up with the jab in the first 3 rounds. And Terrence Crawford, man, he makes those adjustments on the fly, and he had the power to stun him in that 4th round and stop him. And that's saying a lot because Kell Brook is a big welterweight. He's not no small dude.
Right.
And the question always was, does Crawford have the same power at 147 as he had at 140 because guys are bigger? And he answered that question quite emphatically.
Right.
So, Terrence Crawford is a very versatile fighter. He fights from both stances and thinks on the fly. So going up against a guy like Errol Spence, though, Errol Spence is going to apply that constant pressure. He's not going to be on the back foot. He's going to be up in Terrence's grill. And the question is, Terrence knock him out before Errol Spence is able to apply that pressure and just wear his ass down.
Right.
That fight's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But before we get to the Eagles, that dude in the fight in the co-main event, Fundora, I'd never heard of him. I wasn't even aware. I wasn't really paying attention to the undercard, honestly. But I wasn't even aware of this dude. Dude, there's barely 2 guys that are over 6'7" in boxing, and they're both heavyweights. To be 6'7" and only be 154 pounds is freakish.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
That's like Dawson off a Street Fighter.
Yeah, man. You in line, bro. That's crazy.
I wasn't even aware of him, but if he has 2 more fights against solid competition, he's going to be a problem for the Charlo brother at 154. Like, what the hell is he going to have for him? If he goes up to 160, how does Canelo Alvarez beat him? Right? You're talking about dude, 5'11" to 6'7". Like, how do you even? What do you do with that?
That reach is just ridiculous, bro. 6'7", like
the tallest guys we've seen at welterweight or middleweight have been the ex-trainer for Deontay Wilder, Mark Breland, the one to stop the fight. Mark Breland was a 2-time world champion, and he was 6'2", and that was like freakish height for 154, 160, right? And then Tommy Hearns, Hitman Hearns fighting at middleweight. He was 6'1" with an 80-inch reach. That's freakish height and length as a boxer. For him to be that tall and have that reach, man, and he's a good boxer. He's not just an athlete that decided to start boxing and he's just throwing things mindlessly and just catching guys because he's just big. No, he's a guy sharp, man. He can be we'll see, man. I get that same feeling that I got when I saw Manny Pacquiao coming up. Like, who is this little midget that is just like jumping side to side? He's so fucking fast.
Right.
I get that same. It's this freakishly tall guy in Fundora versus this freakishly small guy in Pacquiao fighting at these bigger dudes, and they're both just so phenomenally head and shoulders either taller or faster than the opposition. I'm getting that same vibe, man. We'll see.
Yeah, man.
But let's hop into this Eagles game right now. Off topic, my Raiders, they were up 24-13 last time I checked against the Jets.
Yeah, I'm seeing them right now, man. I'm watching Red Zone. They're on the screen right now. It's 28-24 Jets. But,
what?
It's 28-24 Jets.
Get the Oh my God. Yo, it was just 24-13, man.
I was there driving though, man. It's 3rd and 5, and Raiders got the ball. Oh man.
You gotta be kidding me, yo.
Oh, pass interference. Here we go.
You got red zone?
Yeah, I have red zone, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now. That's what they got in the screen because the Raiders are in the red zone.
This is crazy, man.
I know, man. The Jets, come on, bro.
Yo, the funny thing is, I have a friend from school. He's a Jets fan, and he is probably sitting here just like I am, just staring at the score, hoping to the football guys that the Jets lose so they can just tank and go on 16. Like, he's not happy at this either.
Yeah, as a Jets fan, I don't think I'd be either.
Yeah, Jaguars are right on their tail is trying to be worst team.
It's crazy, bro.
Don't screw it up now, Jets. Just give us the win.
You got something to play for, bro. Like, oh my gosh. Oh man, your Raiders almost fumbled that away.
Don't tell me that, man. Tell me good things. Anyways, let's talk about the Eagles before I just lose my mind. All right, Eagles back. Eagles Packers coming up 425. You got the Wentz wagon going up against, and I think he's in the MVP conversation this year, right? Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
This is tough, man. This is tough. What you thinking?
I'm afraid, bro. I'm afraid. My biggest fear is not the defense. My biggest fear is the offense can't get it going, and then the defense constantly on and off the field. Next thing you know, Aaron Rodgers heats up and he starts throwing bombs and Devontae Adams and shit. I hope you got Adams starting, bro.
Oh, absolutely. He's a must start every week.
Yeah, he's been probably the best receiver, one of the best receivers this year, if not the best.
Yeah, which is why it's so critical that Darius Slay is active for this game.
Yeah, I heard he had I didn't even know about it. He had a calf injury. So
yeah. But it's critical not just because he's your number one cornerback, but because he's seen Devontae Adams twice a year for the past umpteen years now, right? He knows him. That's exactly who you want and need on Devontae Adams.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's huge, and I think our offense really needs. Don't we get Zach Ertz back this game?
We might.
Yeah, I think we do. I think they activated him, and I think that's kind of big for Dallas Goedert because I think that creates some double teams on Ertz, and then I think this might be a big game for Goedert. You know, and I think I just hope and pray that Doug Peterson finally figures out he needs to run this ball, man. I don't know if you heard this, but they activated Jordan Howard on the 53-man roster too.
That's good. So maybe they're going to get run heavy.
Yeah, so I really hope they get run heavy and we hopefully we get the W, man. I ain't gonna lie, my faith in this team right now isn't very high, but I really hope so, man.
Another big injury for the Packers. They have Zach. I can't remember his last name. He's their best pass rusher.
Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius, yeah. Damn,
Yeah,
I butchered that bad.
Yeah, he's active. They were talking about that he might have been out of this game, but apparently he's active now.
Okay.
Yeah, I just saw that pretty recently.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. Yeah, he's active.
So that's it's gonna be a tough task, but I believe in my latte. Hopefully.
Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, I just think there's too many injuries, and I haven't seen enough out of this team. I think the Packers are going to win this game.
Agreed.
But yeah. I don't know if they cover the spread, but I think they're going to win the game.
What's the spread?
Spread's 8.5 points.
I think they're good. I hate to say it, but I think they're going to cover it.
Damn.
Listen, man. I love my Eagles. I'm praying and hoping for a win, but realistically, I think the Packers are going to cover the spread, man. I'm gonna be honest.
I hope not, but
I Packers scare me, man. They've been pretty solid this year, but the only way for this
I think if our offense shows up, I think we have a better shot.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's so many injuries. Not having Lane Johnson, you're rotating the offensive line. I think it was 11 or 12 times this year, which is most in the NFL. So that's critical for us, and I just think that's going to cause huge problems for Carson Wentz today, man.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts has been getting a lot of reps during the week, and an NFL insider reported that Wentz is on a very short leash. What do you think the likelihood of this scenario playing out? What do you think of the likelihood of this scenario? Carson Wentz plays okay, but we're falling behind in the second quarter. Halftime rolls around. Do you think Carson Wentz runs back out that tunnel and goes on the field? You think that's Hurts?
It could possibly be Hurts. I think considering, I also heard some things about that the pick of Jalen Hurts is actually hurting Wentz's confidence too. And it's becoming a mental thing, and it has us apparently Wentz didn't like the pick. I don't know how true it is, but I've been seeing a lot of reports about it.
Well, in this game, you have to prove that you're the top dog in the present. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. So
Right.
I'm not comparing him to greats of the past, but same thing happened to Joe Montana. He got injured, had a really bad injury. I don't know if it was against the Eagles or the Giants. Somebody hit him real hard, and he had a really bad injury, and he comes back, and Steve Young's the starter.
Right.
They traded for Steve Young.
Right.
And Bill Walsh knew him for a long time at that point. I mean, he was drafted in 79, right? So you're talking about 91, 92. They traded for Steve Young prior to that, and Steve Young's just waiting in the wings for his chance, and Joe goes down, gets hurt. And, I think eventually Joe got a chance to get back out on the field, but the clock was ticking from that point. And you think Joe Montana was happy that they drafted or traded for Steve Young? Absolutely not. You think Brett Favre? And I'm not saying that Wentz is at this point in his career. He's still a very young dude, but you think Brett Favre was happy when they drafted Aaron Rodgers? Fuck no.
Yeah.
He wasn't sitting there helping them. They actually had a pretty acrimonious relationship because he was like, "Yo, I'm the man. I'm not here to teach you and hold your hand and guide you through everything you need to know. No, man." But they didn't let that affect their play on the field. And if Wentz is letting that affect his play on the field, look, hey, you have to put your big boy pads on, put your big boy draws on, and go out there and continue to produce. Because if you don't, then that's the whole reason he's here anyway. You can't be worried about that.
Yeah, you
What
can't be looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, what will be will be. You can't worry about the outcome. You have to focus on what you're doing play by play.
Yeah, you got to be the reason they're winning games and show you're the leader on that football team, and you can be better. You can't, worry about, like I said, looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm not sure if he will be walking out that tunnel when after halftime. It depends how badly they're losing too. I mean, if they're losing by a couple possessions, it could possibly be Hurts. So I mean, we'll see.
If you're running a quarter mile race and you keep looking back over your shoulder to see where the other guys are at, you do that enough times, eventually they'll pass you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, it's special to be in the NFL. You got to understand you're going to have competition behind you sometimes, but you just got, like I said, you got to be, that dog. Like,
absolutely.
I really hope he gets it together in this game, man. I'm not giving up on him yet. We still, like you said, he's young in his career. I think he can turn this around. It's going to be tough for him to do it. I mean, let's be honest, though. Look at what he has to play with. Like, he, shuffled offensive line, receivers. I mean, at times there has been separation, but not often,
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, they haven't been consistent with a lot of things outside of Wentz. They're not consistent in running screens, and Barry Brooks was talking about that about a half an hour earlier on Eagles pregame live. They don't the running backs don't understand. They don't run screenplays enough for them to understand where they're supposed to be at and what they're supposed to be doing on the play. Like the one last week where Wentz got sacked, Boston Scott was in there. He had about 4 linemen on the left side of the left hash mark, and he would have walked in. Instead of chipping the blitzer, which was Jamal Adams, I think, on the play, he just lets him go by. And then Wentz doesn't have time. I mean, it's those little things. It's like some plays are Wentz's fault and some plays are a lack of repetition and coaching between the players and Doug Peterson. Because there's no way that you see the blitz coming. Like you get the cues pre-snap, the blitz is coming from that side. You as a running back have to know that you have to chip that guy. You can't do the play fake. Like you have a blitz coming to that side, you have to immediately in your minds, like you have to have that already being known that the play fake is off. We have to let them rush in. You chip Jamal Adams, and then you turn around and look for the ball. You can't do the play fake because they're not going to buy that anyway. They're coming hot. Yeah. Little things like that. Those are mental errors. Yeah. Not necessarily on the quarterback, but just the team as a whole. Because Wentz has to recognize that too. He has to see that, and Boston Scott has to see that. But that's a bigger indictment on the inexperience of these younger players, not knowing what they're supposed to be doing and where they're supposed to be at on the play. Right. So we'll see. But I don't see that inexperience resolving itself within a game's time.
No, not at all. Unfortunately not. But that's all we can do, man.
Yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and get live on Facebook. Talk about the fight with people and whatnot. You're more than free to jump on. But yeah, I think that's it for this episode. We put our picks in. Hopefully the Eagles prove us wrong, but I don't necessarily think they're going to win this game.
Nah, me either. Unfortunately not, but like I said, still hoping for the W, man. Just pray and hope.
Oh, man.
What's your score over there, man?
28-24 Jets.
Jeez Louise.
This is bad.
I'm still waiting for them to switch over to that game.
Yeah.
I can't believe that, man.
Why is this game still on? The Titans are getting killed.
I know, right? They need to switch that.
24-21, 41-21. Goodness gracious. All right, well, that's it. That's it for this episode. I'm hop over on Facebook, and maybe I'll catch you there, man.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Being real. Peace.